Hello friends, welcome back to another video and a special hello if you are new. My name is Casey and today I'm going to be sharing some of my recent cozy favorites. I've done this before and I've kind of broken it up into 3 categories each time, so just for the sake of my brain, I'm going to do that again. First I have entertainment and essentials, and then just kind of anything random. I don't really have anything random this time, but we'll go ahead and start with entertainment. Shockingly, I don't have any books to mention. The books that I like to mention in my cozy favorites are books that are absolute coziness. They will provide you zero stress, but they're still fun to read, not like incredibly predictable. So I didn't have any books to add this time, but I do have 3 things to watch and 1 game. So I'll go ahead and talk about those. The first show that I have is Miss Austen, which was done by Masterpiece. This is a kind of what if or what actually happened in terms of Jane Austen's letters. So it is believed that Jane Austen wrote upwards of like 3,000 letters throughout her lifetime, and only I think like 180 of those letters have actually survived because Jane's sister Cassandra burned them all. And so this series, which is based off of a book, takes into why did she burn those? Like what caused Cassandra, however you'd want to say it, to burn those letters. I thought that this show was incredibly well done. It's beautiful. The mystery kept me hooked. I watched it with a friend, and at the end of each episode we were like, oh my gosh, like what's gonna happen? And we were so sad that there were only 4 episodes because we could have easily watched many more. There are a lot of really wonderful actors and actresses in here who I love to watch, and I feel like the show was very realistic to Regency and Jane Austen-ish times. The big reveal wasn't like insanely scandalous or something that just did not fit with the character of Jane Austen. I enjoyed the show so much. It's just a really fun kind of mystery, and I just really recommend it. I think it's a must watch if you are into like Regency time periods, and especially if you're into Jane Austen herself. Next, I have a show from the 90s, and it is Gardens of the World with Audrey Hepburn. I adore Audrey Hepburn. She is my absolute favorite. I talked about her a lot in a vlog earlier this year. And I also love flowers. So if you are not new here, then you know that those 2 things make up a good percentage of my personality. So when we have a show that combines Audrey Hepburn and flowers, it's a 10 out of 10 for me. Gardens of the World with Audrey Hepburn is a beautiful documentary style show from the 90s, and it basically has Audrey walking you through gardens throughout the world. Different episodes focus on different things, so some episodes focus particularly on certain types of flowers like bulb flowers or roses, and then other episodes will focus on different types of gardens like country gardens or estate gardens. To my knowledge, this is not streaming anywhere. I do believe that you can buy it on VHS or DVD, but I do not believe that there is any type of like digital copy of it that you can purchase. But if you do a quick Google search or do a quick Reddit search, you will find where it's been uploaded at on like different YouTube channels and other websites. And it's just a really beautiful watch. I think it's perfect for spring and summer, and it's incredibly educational. Like when I was watching it, I felt that I needed to have a notebook and I needed to be taking notes because I was learning so much, and it was so much information to absorb, but in like a really good way. And I feel like this will just definitely be a must watch for me in the spring and summers. I feel like I will just consistently come back to this like in the mornings when I'm having my coffee or something like that. And I know that hopefully like next spring and summer when I am working on my own landscaping for our home, I will definitely be revisiting this to come up with ideas for how we will decorate our own gardens in our house. Last but not least, I have a YouTube channel for you, and it is the Bookshop by the Sea. This is a small independent bookstore ran in Wales in the UK, and it is run by Freya. I love Freya. She seems incredibly sweet and bubbly, and just like that she would be a wonderful like friend to have. Um, and she gives incredibly good book recommendations as well, especially if you lean more toward wanting to read like feminist literature. I am interested in feminist literature, but it's like very overwhelming. Clementine's drinking. So I'm sorry if you hear that in the background, but it's incredibly overwhelming for me of where to start. Um, and and she just gives incredibly like great recommendations there, and there's so many books that I've added to my TBR. It's also just so wonderful. I feel like if you've clicked on this video, if you're a subscriber of my channel, then you love books, and you at some point in your life have probably thought, yes, I want to run a bookstore. So it's really nice to live like vicariously through Freya and her experiences running this bookshop. It's really interesting to see the ins and out of her bookstore, to see, you know, what goes into running a bookstore, the different types of management that they do, the other ideas that they have. I don't know, it's just really fun. And they upload videos, I think, every Sunday, and they're basically bookshop diaries. They're what has happened that week in the bookshop, and I just highly, highly, highly recommend it. I am always excited on Mondays when I'm getting ready for work to click on those videos and watch them. I also have a game for you, and it is The Sims. I know everyone has played The Sims. Everyone knows about The Sims. I am not sharing anything new or revolutionary here, but in particular, I guess rather, I have been playing the Cottage expansion pack of The Sims. I bought the expansion pack when it first came out. I have pretty much all the expansion packs on The Sims, but I bought it when it came out because I was really interested in it, and I primarily used it for like the decor and like the clothing items and things like that. It's been perfect for, I feel like, my aesthetic and the aesthetic that I want my Sims to have. But recently, I have been playing it as it's intended. So my sim has a cow and like a garden, and I just feel like I am living like my best cozy dream life on there. Like, she makes little cross stitches and sells them at the garden shop in town with the produce that she grows, and I've had her make little bouquets of flowers, and I've had her like sell them at flea markets and things. It is just so fun. I'm living like two different lives with my sim. So I have her as a young adult in her own home, and she's going to college, and she's trying to find someone to marry, and you know, just that. But I also have been raising her in a different like game where she's an infant, so I'm raising her from childhood up into adulthood. But it has been just really, really fun for me, and I have just, I don't know, I love playing it. It just makes time go by so fast, and it's just, I don't know, it's a really fun, great experience. In terms of essentials, I have three and a half things to share with you. The first is this Dr. Teal's bubble bath. This is the foaming bath with Epsom salts, and this is the menstrual relief version. I have stage 4 endometriosis, so that time of the month and other times of the month really can be brutal, and especially when I have flare-ups, it can be really difficult to manage day-to-day life. I think that this is probably in my head, and it may not be as effective as I maybe think that it is for others, but I feel like this has just been revolutionary for me. I think when I am in a lot of pain and I'm feeling really icky, sitting down in a bubble bath does make me feel better. I love a bubble bath, but I think just the smells of this, it's got chasteberry, ginger, and evening primrose, and then essential oils. It really does help. It has a really nice smell, and like sometimes I need a bath at like 2 in the afternoon when I'm like cramping and not feeling well, and I don't want to use, I use their like bedtime like lavender and chamomile one as well. So I don't really need those types of scents. I just want something to help kind of soothe the pain and the aches that I'm feeling. I just really, really like this. It says that the essential oils can uplift the mood, and it eases muscle cramps and body aches related to PMS. So I feel that it does that. Again, it may not be as effective as it is. It might just be like a mental thing. But when you are in the trenches of that, I think anything helps. So I highly recommend this, whether you have like endometriosis or PMS or any type of situation like that, I feel like if you are a menstruating friend, I think you should definitely try this because it can be very helpful. Next, I have the Moisture Boost Cooling Hydrogel Eye Patches by Tony Moly. I don't know how you would say that. These are basically just eye patches that you put under your eyes. I have bought these a few times, but more recently I've been using them pretty frequently. They are so refreshing. Like they really feel refreshing on the eyes. I don't know that it's like really providing my eyes with a lot of moisture or like, decreasing fine lines or anything like that, but they really do make my eyes feel so refreshed. They're really nice to use in the morning after like a poor night's sleep. They really do make me feel more awake and revitalized. But they're also, I really like using these like after I've taken like, so my husband works till like 6:30 or 7. So especially like on Friday nights, he will pick up dinner. And like while he's like leaving work and picking up dinner, I'll take like an everything shower and I'll wash my hair and do all of those things and then put these on and we'll like watch some TV or a movie. And it's like one of my favorite rituals to do. I just really recommend these. These are pretty much empty and I've lost the little like spoolie thing to help get them out. I don't know if I can open them. But as you can see, there's like none left in here. They're all like piled up to the side. But I really recommend these. I know that they have different types. I think they have some with like collagen and like other things, but I in particular really like the Moisture Boost for that cooling like effect that it feels on the eyes. And last but not least, I want to talk about my journal. And again, nothing revolutionary, but I just wanted to share a few things about mine. So this is my journal. It's from Target. It's by Threshold. I'm about halfway through it, but not quite. I do hate that it says notebook. That is one of my biggest pet peeves is when like notebooks and journals say what they are. Like you could have just made more flowers there and I would have liked it even more. But I've always been a day journaler ever since my childhood, but I have a tendency to fall into depressive periods. And I feel like when I come out of those, I want a fresh start. So I start a new journal and then I often toss the old one because, I don't want to read about those like bad moments or bad times. But a couple months ago, I found a journal of mine from about 10 years ago that I kept. And to my knowledge, which there might be more at my mom and dad's house, but to my knowledge, it's the only journal that I've kept. And it was so much fun reading back through it and like seeing what I was up to on a day to day basis. It was just like, there were some like sad moments. And, I was like at that point, I was in my very late teens, going into my early 20s through the years that journal covered. And there were like spats with my parents, where I was starting to like kind of butt heads with them because I was an adult, but I was still at home. So it was like kind of weird. Um, and I was so sad for like companionship, like not friendship, but like a relationship, like a romantic type of companionship. And then to reflect upon that, 10 years later where I'm married and my husband and I dated for a really long time before we got married and engaged. So, to reflect upon those situations. And it was also just fun. Like there were times when there were pages of me like obsessing over One Direction. And I taped like movie stubs that I had seen and, just different things like that. And it was just a really good time. And I realized I've been missing out on that. And I really, wanted this journal and this journaling experience to be one that I kept and one that I could come back on. So that's what I have tried to do. And I'm still taping, like, I don't feel like I junk journal in the sense of that other people junk journal, but I have been trying to, make sure I'm putting like I just knocked myself in the face, but like ticket stubs or other types of little things in here as well. But what I think has really enhanced my journaling experience this time, and that is going to make it even more fun to look upon years down the road, is this little Kodak printer This is the Kodak One Step printer, I believe. I will have it linked below. So if I'm not describing what it actually is, then you can find it. Yeah, this is Kodak Step on the side. So I'm assuming that's what it is. It is this little tiny chargeable portable printer. I think they actually make these in like colors now. Like I think there's like a pink one or in like a blue one. So they're a little bit more fun. But essentially you just put little bits of paper in here and it will print them out. And it's so much fun taping these pictures into my journal. So whether they're from like when I went to see Hosier, I had quite a few pictures that I printed out and taped in there, or just like day-to-day things, like just a really cute picture of Clementine. Like how wonderful is that to go and like to look back on these experiences and also have like actual pictures paired with them. I just feel like it's really enhanced my journaling experience. And like I said, I really had to kind of come up with ways to make my journal a place of happy memories and not one that I just write about how sad and awful life is and then, therapeutically throw it away. So it's been a really nice experience just having like these two things together. And I just highly recommend, our journals should be places where we feel like we can write and talk about some of our darkest places and our saddest moments, but I think it's also important to have them full of happy memories as well. So I highly recommend giving this a try if maybe you've never thought of it. All right, friends, that sums up my cozy favorites, or at least this episode of Cozy Favorites. I will see you again probably in a couple months with another episode. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.